end the previous one because of some distractions. Okay, so in today's video we are going to be discussing about dangers of assumption. In our previous video we discussed about why it is necessary to have a conversation with someone or with people. Now we are looking at assumption. So what does it mean by assumption? Assumption is when you think the other person knows what he or she is supposed to do or what he or she is supposed to say without telling the person, without communicating with the person. So in order not to give room for assumptions, it is very important that we communicate with the other person. So we'll be looking at the dangers of assumption, and one of the dangers of assumption that I've written down here is assumption gives rise to conflict. Imagine when you expect somebody to do a thing and the person does not do it. There's going to be conflict, there's going to be lots of misunderstanding. It's going to make you, think the person does not want to do what he or she is supposed to do, not knowing that you did not communicate it to the person. So in order to avoid clash, in order to avoid misunderstanding, it is good for you to communicate appropriately and don't give room to assumption. Number two danger of assumption is that assumption, makes makes an individual to get angry unnecessarily. So getting angry unnecessarily, it is important for you to communicate your intents with another person, with the other party, with your audience. Okay, instead of getting angry unnecessarily or getting yourself into a situation where you'll be angry, it is important for you to communicate. If you want something to be done, communicate with the person how it should be done, when it should be done, and what your expectation. Communicate it appropriately so that you will not be getting angry unnecessarily. Number three, what's another danger of assumption? Another danger of assumption is that your plans will not be met. If you want something to be done, say like in around a particular time, and you don't stipulate it with the person, or you are trying to get something done, if you don't stipulate what you are planning, your goal, what you aim to achieve may not be met if you don't communicate it appropriately. Assuming that somebody knows that he should remove something from a specific location to another location is very dangerous, because at the end of the day, what you want will not be done because you have not communicated it. So we are still looking at communication and why communication is very important in our daily lives. I have said that one of the reasons why there are conflicts is because of lack of communication. And most times people assume the other person to know what he or she supposed to know without communicating it to the person. Some people are angry, they are not happy about something. Instead of communicating it to the person, they rather hold it to themselves and assume that the other person knows why they are angry. Now, it is good for you to know that whoever you are dealing with does not read mind, cannot know what is in your mind. So if you have anything to tell another person, if you have anything to tell another party, it is important for you to communicate it to the person rather than assuming that the person knows what you are talking about. Moving on. Another danger of assumption is that it may create unnecessary enmity. You may be, getting angry. You may think the other person does not want to help when you have not asked the person for help. You may have communicated something in a general gathering where you expect the other person to know what you have communicated, but the person might be thinking about another thing and might not have paid attention to what you have communicated. In order to avoid situation where you'll be having high expectation from someone and the person is not meeting up with that expectation, communicate directly to the person. If you want somebody to attend an event maybe you want someone to attend your event, communicate directly to the person. Give the person an invitation card. Do not assume that because you have posted it on WhatsApp status or because you have posted it on a general platform, the person might have seen it. No, the person may not have been on your status to check the information. The person may not have read it, and the person may not have paid attention to it. So whatever you want to be done, communicate directly with the person, and do not assume that the person knows what to do without communicating to the person. Now, the next point I have here regarding dangers of assumption is that there will be lack of coordination. There will be lack of coordination. Assuming you are working with a team and you want the team to reach a specific task, if you do not coordinate the team very well by communicating, sectioning different people that ought to carry out each task, giving them their roles, giving them their expectations, giving them their deadlines where they need to meet the task, you will find out that most people will not get it done. So you need to communicate appropriately. Do not assume that because you have assigned something to somebody, the person is going to do it. No, you need to follow up. You need to give them, action points. You need to tell them when the action should, be actioned, the limit to when they could carry out such action. So that is communication. Okay, do not leave anything to assumption. When you assume, lots of things will lack coordination. So the next point we are going to be talking about here is that if you want to achieve a goal, if you want to achieve a target, communicate it appropriately. Do not assume that, oh, because I have set this goal, because person is going to do it. No, communicate appropriately so that you will meet the particular goal, the particular target that you want to meet. So like I have said, there are lots of examples of assumption. Examples of assumption could include inviting someone, okay, placing a general invitation on a general platform and expecting that because you have placed the invitation on a general platform, a certain individual will attend to that invitation. No, if you expect somebody specifically to honor an invitation, send a direct message to the person. Don't assume that the person has read it. Don't assume that, oh, because it was on your status that the person has seen it. No, assumption is what gives rise to loss of conflict. Another example of assumption could be when you leave something undone, and then because somebody is around, you feel the person should do it without communicating with the person. You do not know what the other person's plans are, if the person will be available to get it done or not. So if you want something done, if you want a particular goal to be achieved, it is good for you to communicate it rather than assuming. So this is what we'll be discussing today. Everything we have discussed today centers on communication and not giving rise to assumption. We have looked at the different dangers of assumption, and we have discussed that in order to avoid conflict, enmity, getting angry unnecessarily, not meeting your plans and target, it is good for you to communicate appropriately. So this is why I'll be ending this video for today. Do well to check out my other videos, and I will see you in my other video. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.